Welcome to another tactics video. This one's going to be on ambush. This is Matt from the Dice of the Round Table. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you're notified of future content, and leave a comment, thumbs up if you appreciate it so I know what to fine tune for. This is Matt from the Dice of the Round Table. Welcome to another tactics video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you appreciate the content, as well as leave a comment if you have some input, as well as ring the bell so you remember when you get new content from the channel. But for this one, we're talking about Bolt Action, second edition, World War II Historics Gaming, and we're going to talk about the ambush order. What is the ambush order? The ambush order is I can put it on a unit, and when another unit activates and moves, the key aspect is move, then you get to interrupt part of that order to fire on them. Or at the end of the turn, you can roll a die on a 4, 5, 6. You actually can pull off a fire order. But why would I use it? It's not something I've done a lot of, but in recent months of gaming and several last couple of games, I really started to enjoy the ambush order, especially if you tag it with the previous tactics video talking about MSU building. So let's get to the table and see what I got for an example. So on the table we have a squad of Germans behind a wall, and we got two squads that have taken some casualties of Americans. We have them up in the woods trying to do a flanking move up towards an objective, and we got this unit pushing up to support. Let's say we pull a dice, and it's the German dice. The German dice is going to go to ambush. Why not just shoot? Well, let's take a look at this. If I'm going to shoot, I can't really see them because they're behind the hill. I can see them. So I'm going to measure my range. It's going to be long range for everything but the machine gun, because we're going to say they're rifles. So everyone will normally be 3. Rifles will go to, well, everything will go to 4 for cover. And then the rifles are at long range, so 5s, and the LMGs at 4s. Okay, chance to hit. Let's see what happens if we don't. Let's say we put them in ambush. Now the American player has to make a choice. Moving these guys in a way, but they're going to be totally in the open. So it's going to be long range, but I'll be hitting them on a 4. And I'm getting no fire back. Or the American player may choose to do this. This is within 6 inches. They're going up from cover to cover. But because they're in ambush, instead of hitting on 5s and 4s, I would shoot them as they're closer now, and everyone's going to be within short range. So it'll be 3s. I haven't moved. They're going to be in regular range, and they're not in cover. So everything's going to hit on a 3, making the LMG 1 better and making the rifles 2 better. Much better chance to hit that squad. Now, that squad, if they were here, shooting back up here, would be hitting on 3, 4 for the wall, and 5 for range. Now, if they did this, let's say they survived somehow, they would be shooting on base 3. Americans don't care about moving. But let's say they hit. Now they're hitting on a 4, 5 for the wall. So, for the German player, it is a much bigger advantage to put it in ambush and then see what happens. The American player, it doesn't change the scenario very much. But if they get a pin here and they shoot, then that pin might stop them from activating. Because once they pass the order test, the pin goes away. But in the ambush mode, that pin would go on the unit as they're moving and affect their shooting. Just food for thought about using ambush in a different way. Now, let's say instead of you had this, And you're like, well, how about a tank? Well, the tank could take the one shot, and it would be a 3-4 for cover. Or it could take the LMG shot, which would still be a 4, and no shot here. Whereas the ambush, again, it could be a 3 instead, and it would give you a 4 or 3 depending on if you were shooting the LMG. So even with a vehicle, maybe taking the ambush approach would be beneficial to shoot your main gun, and it forces your opponent to decide. Ambush, just another tool in the box for a player to consider, because it does lock down a zone to make your opponent to really think about what's important, what needs to go, who might you trigger the ambush for. As the person putting the ambush, I know something's going to end up moving, and if you don't move, I got a 50-50 chance to trigger the ambush or let it ride for next turn. But I would suggest next game you play, if you haven't used ambush very much, consider using ambush and see how it might broaden the horizons of what you got in the toolbox for tactics. This is Matt from the Dice of the Round Table. Thanks for watching.